Pleasant good morning. My name is Ismini Manzanero and I serve as the Cultural Heritage Coordinator at Friends for Conservation and Development. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to Heritage Education Network Belize for the opportunity to participate in this important platform dedicated to cultural preservation and education. Today I will be sharing insights from recent research at Actun Kabal, a cave system that represents a significant component of Belize's cultural and natural heritage, where ancient Maya history and unique biodiversity come together in a single extraordinary landscape. The presentation will be covering an introduction of the Chiquibul Cave System, a brief introduction of the 80s survey and documentation of the Chiquibul Cave System, 1980s Actun Kabal finds, present summary findings, survey and documentation of Actun Kabal 2024, and recommendations. The Chiquibul Cave System, located in the Cayo district of Belize, Central America, is a transboundary karst system of significant geological, ecological, and cultural importance. As illustrated on Map 2, one of its primary access points, Actun Kabal, is partially situated within the Chiquibul Forest Reserve, depicted in lighter green, while the remaining portion of the entrance and the majority of the cavern lies within the Chiquibul National Park, shown in darker green. The cave system continues its westward extension through the national park and ultimately crosses the Belize-Guatemalan border, entering eastern Guatemala. This extensive karst system comprises four major caverns: Actun Kabal, Actun Tungkul, Cebada, and Xibalba, which is located within the Guatemalan territory. It also features numerous vertical shafts and over 60 documented sinkholes, contributing to its highly complex subterranean morphology. Geological evidence indicates that the speleogenesis of the Chiquibul Cave System began approximately 800,000 years ago. The primary processes involved included fluvial incision and the subsurface infiltration of the Chiquibul River into the region's highly soluble limestone bedrock. The Chiquibul Cave System is the largest known cave network in Central America in terms of both length and volume. To date, over 65 kilometers of mapped underground passages have been documented. One of the most notable features of the system is the Belize chamber located within Actun Tungkul. This vast cavern measures approximately 1,600 feet in length and 600 feet in width, making it one of the largest known cave chambers in the Western Hemisphere. Map 3 is a close-up, which are images that represent the caverns Actun Kabal, Actun Tungkul, the Nahoshen sinkhole, which is within the area zone of Actun Tungkul, Cebada, known for the fossil of the cave bear, and lastly, we have Xibalba. The map illustrates the Chiquibul Cave System as documented by Dr. Miller and his research team. The following section is a chronological overview of the exploration and mapping efforts conducted within the Chiquibul Cave System. In 1982, Dr. Thomas Miller and team located the Chiquibul Cave System while completing work for his PhD and spent 8 days exploring the cave. In 1983, confirmation by the National Geographic that funding was approved for a combined geological and archaeological project in Belize. In 1984, the initiation of the Chiquibul expedition. Research team discovered Belize Chamber, which is surveyed, and also the discovery of Actun Tungkul Cave and Actun Kabal. The team descends into the sinkhole known as Nahoshen. In 1986, the survey of the Cebada and Xibalba caves and the discovery of the mined Prodler. They arrived at the cave entrance in Guatemala and end of Limb Passage. In 1988, the team descends into Zygote Chamber. This expedition focuses on the biological sampling. In 1998, discovery of Eel Sump, Fulton Passage, and possible Cebada route to Actun Tungkul Sump. In 1999, the team links Actun Tungkul to Cebada and they dive into the eel and shrimp sumps. The survey of the cave system totals 40 miles at this point. We will now be looking at the 1980s archaeological finds. The 1984 exploration of the Chiquibul Cave System revealed that the integrity of many archaeological deposits had been compromised due to periodic flooding events. A significant portion of the artifacts, except those located in the highest chambers, were found buried beneath a thick layer of silty clay sediment. Ceramic analysis indicated that the majority of the pottery styles belonged to the late Classic to post-Classic period. Thousands of pottery sherds, along with a wide variety of other artifacts, provide strong evidence for the ritual use of the cave by the late Classic Maya. In certain areas, ceramic sherds and the complete vessels were discovered tightly wedged among rock crevices, suggesting intentional placement as part of ritual activity. The Kabal expedition documented several architectural features, including platforms, terraces, and low masonry walls, particularly within the Chiquibul chamber and near the Kotob entrance. Notably, 2 human femora bearing footmarks were recovered from the defined archaeological context within the Chiquibul chamber. These bones were found behind a low stone wall connecting the frontal edges of 2 breakdown piles. Their placement, along with a concentration of broken ceramic vessels in the immediate area, strongly indicates their role as part of a Maya ritual offering. Overall, the archaeological reconnaissance confirmed the Actun Kabal and adjacent cave areas were extensively utilized by the ancient Maya. This conclusion is based on the distribution and topology of features and artifacts observed throughout the cave system, as well as the cave's physical characteristics and spatial organization. Slides 6 and 8 are selected sketch illustrations from the 1984 Kabal expedition produced as part of the archaeological documentation conducted by Dr. Thomas Miller and his research team. Image 1 shows a scored incense dish cover located in the Chiquibul chamber. Image 2 is listed under the possibility of being a comal or an incensario, which was located in the Kotob entrance. The images depicted are those of a polychrome tripod dish, a bird motif hollow-footed, which was located in the Chiquibul chamber. Other finds were those of a polychrome dish, insect beam motif, located in the Chiquibul chamber, and lastly, an unslip bowl, located in the Chiquibul chamber. On screen are a few ceramic artifacts recovered from the 1980s Actun Kabal field documentation within the Chiquibul Cave System, currently curated at the Institute of Archaeology repository. Image 1 is a ceramic vessel curated from the Actun Kabal cavern. Image 2, as mentioned previously from the 1984 sketch illustrations labeled as possible comal or incensario from the Kotob entrance of Actun Kabal. Image 3 is a bird motif hollow-footed that was located at the Chiquibul chamber east passage. And lastly, image 4 is a ceramic tripod dish from the Chiquibul chamber. We now proceed to the presentation of the 2024 Actun Kabal documentation, encompassing the results of the interdisciplinary field survey and analysis conducted within the Chiquibul chamber. Actun Kabal Survey Report 2024. Actun Kabal, a significant subsystem within the larger Chiquibul Cave System, is distinguished by its remarkable karst geology, rich biodiversity, and a substantial assemblage of cultural material. The 2024 multidisciplinary investigation was made possible through the support from the U.S. Department of the Interior, International Technical Assistance (DOI-ITAC), in collaboration with the Institute of Archaeology. The team comprised of specialists including a cartographer, archaeologists, cave biologists, and geologists. A total of 6 field days were conducted within Actun Kabal with the primary objective of collecting high-quality baseline data to inform future management strategies, including considerations for sustainable tourism. The survey emphasized both cultural and biological components, aiming to inventory material culture and identify biodiversity hotspots within the cave system, specifically the Chiquibul chamber. Methodologies used were survey techniques that included visual inspection, sketch mapping, and photographic documentation supplemented by standardized cultural inventory protocols utilizing detailed data sheets. These methodologies enable systematic recording of natural, biological, and cultural features. The key findings under the cultural documentation were a total of 60 features and 22 notable artifacts that were recorded. Among the most notable was a ceremonial area located in the rear of the Chiquibul chamber. This area contained 2 fragmented adult human femurs, an obsidian prismatic blade core used in bloodletting rituals, and a ceremonially discarded gray-ware oya. All artifacts were confined to a discrete spatial context indicating deliberate placement and ritual activity. A distinctive gray-red ware ceramic type was identified in the East Passageway upper ledge room. Pots in this area contained this ware, which was thick and contained layers of red and black ware with coarse inclusions. A small number of sherds with similar characteristics were also found in the central Chiquibul chamber, likely displaced by looters. Evidence of vandalism and disturbance was noted on pots in the East Passageway upper ledge room, likely caused by Guatemala nationals illegally crossing the border. These disturbances were absent in the 1980s documentation, suggesting the damage occurred within the past 4 decades. One pot appeared to have been intentionally overturned. The architectural features resulted in several new terraces identified within the Chiquibul chamber, exceeding the number recorded during the 1980s expedition. Notably, a central terrace stair wall complex was documented in the chamber's floor. The stair elements were newly interpreted by Mr. Paul Smith of the Institute of Archaeology. References to these features in 1984 literature provided a comparative basis for the updated survey data. The biological survey focused on biodiversity assessment, identifying numerous cave-adapted species, several of which may be undescribed by science. These findings underline the cave's ecological significance and the need for continued biological monitoring. The map and spatial documentation was a comprehensive sketch map of Actun Kabal, which was produced, illustrating the spatial relationships among cultural features, geological structures, and key biological zones. This map serves as a critical tool for future management, conservation planning, and research. Actun Kabal Kotob entrance. Due to time constraints, all our preliminary documentation and reporting was completed at the Kotob entrance of the Actun Kabal cavern. 2 main archaeological areas in the Kotob entrance, west and east of the entrance, was observed. The east side of the Kotob opening contains approximately 10 terraces, a potential structural foundation, a radius bone, and Oya sherds. Many of the features are collapsed and impacted by erosion and flooding at this entrance, as evidenced by a larger percentage of displaced artifacts covered in silt that was observed in the Kabal entrance area. The east side contains a passageway, which was fully explored by the team. An obsidian prismatic blade was observed on the ledge leading to the passageway. The passageway itself contains a partially collapsed wall leading into a large room with approximately 12 large ceremonially dumped oyas of red, black, and gray slip and ware. The room also contains a potential heart, as well as broken speleothems and a broken red polychrome dish turned upside down. There is an upper passageway above the room that contains an additional few ceremonially dumped oyas. The west side of the Kotob entrance was not explored. Impact minimization of the Chiquibul chamber. During an initial reconnaissance of the Chiquibul chamber entrance, it was observed that significant surface erosion was actively occurring, likely deteriorated by repeated foot traffic along informal routes. This erosion was impacting both natural features and anthropogenic elements, including constructed terraces and wall alignments, which showed signs of destabilization and degradation. In order to mitigate further disturbance and minimize the impact on both the cultural features and the surrounding matrix, the field team implemented a low-impact access strategy. A designated pathway was established using clearly visible flagging tape to direct movement along a controlled route, thereby reducing further wear on sensitive areas and preventing inadvertent damage to archaeological materials. This measure was intended as a temporary conservation strategy pending the development of a long-term site management plan. During the Kabal 2024 documentation, several condition impacts and recommendations were made note of. There were features that were prone to impacts. Those registered features were AKF-01, a highly eroded trail-through feature which had caused the midsection to deteriorate, as well as AKF-05, a terrace located directly below the access route that had been actively eroded, given the active human-caused erosion. Recommendations to reroute access was implemented. Now we will take a look at the key biota of Actun Kabal documentation. biological documentation of thousands of cave invertebrates were documented during the 6 days in the Chiquibul Cave System. The 5 most abundant cave biota spotted were isopods more than 1,000, beetles more than 50, black spiders and burrows more than 30, tiny white millipedes more than 20, crickets about 20. The 5 cave biota at the most stations inventoried were spiders at 31 stations, flies at 20 stations, crickets at 18 stations, isopods at 17 stations, and beetles at 14 stations. These are a few images selected from the 2024 research at Actun Kabal that were inventoried. They consisted of arachnids, beetles, and isopods. Lastly, to finalize our documentation of Actun Kabal, a plan view and a profile view map were produced as a result of the 6-day survey documenting a total length of 1.65 miles and a survey depth of negative 265.5 feet. This represents the final deliverable of the 2024 mapping and documentation effort of Actun Kabal. To finalize our overall findings, recommendations were made looking at cave restoration, implement protocols for graffiti removal, flowstone restoration and the management of carbide dumps, soil stabilization access route, to implement soil stabilization strategies for the entrance slope into the Chiquibul chamber to prevent future erosional processes and damage to cave resources, monitoring and documentation, to establish a robust system for cave photography to support monitoring and marketing efforts, and lastly, advocacy and protection. Groups who advocate for the Chiquibul forest collaborate with neighboring communities and organizations and explore the possibility of World Heritage Site status. This concludes my presentation, and once again, thank you.